Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Today is December 9th, and as we know, today's our topic is 2024 Canadian housing market forecast. I know a lot of people want to know what's going to happen in New Year. So we'll look into that and we'll get some fact-based information. And as usual, we'll do our PowerPoint presentation, followed by our expert panel, Kishore, Bhavin, Amit, Prerna, Shihan, our mortgage experts are here. Sandeep Chopra ji and Amit and Murari Lal ji would be our real estate lawyers. Prasun is the estate planner. Mohit Katoch is a financial advisor. Bani is insurance broker. Deepak and Mustafa ji are the accountant for the call. So as usual, first of all, a quick disclaimer. We try our best to get all the information from the reliable sources, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy, and professional advice should be taken before taking any action. Now, today's agenda, first of all, we'll review our November 2023 market report, which just came out this week, followed by we'll look into our economy. Right. And then we'll discuss inflation, which is the elephant in the room. And then we'll look into the interest rates forecast by experts, followed by our forecast for the Canadian housing market for 2024. And then we'll discuss some excellent opportunities available in the market, followed by our Q&A session. So let's start with our 2023, November 2023 market report. So I was surprised to see when we saw 4,236 sales in November this year. Wow. Our market is still very resilient. If you ask anybody on the street, how's the real estate market, most people would tell you the market is dead. Nothing is happening. Right? People feel no one is buying, but we still sold more than 4,000, almost 4,250 homes last month, which is about the same number of homes we sold last year, only 6% below November 2022. It's a very healthy number, which shows the resilience in our Toronto real estate market, that people have a desire to buy homes even despite high interest rates and despite a lot of negative sentiment in the market. And the average price is almost stable. It's 1,082,000. So which means we are not going down too much in home prices as well. You know, the only thing which makes you feel the market is dead or houses are not moving is this factor, months of supply. We are around 4 months of supply in our market, which for Toronto Real Estate Board or our local board here is very heavy or very high. Normally, we have 2.5 months of inventory, as was last year, November 2022. Now we are 4 months of inventory, which means every house that comes to the market would take approximately 4 months to sell in layman's terms. Right. So that's why if you see a sign in your neighborhood, and if it's not having a sold sign for months, that's the reason. Right. Now, let's look into this homes available for sale. We have almost 16,759 homes available for sale at this time, at the end of November. Right, which is this dark blue line, which is in 2023. If you see, we are almost at the top of the number of homes available for sale at any time during this month in the last decade, since 2013. Only the time we had more homes to sell in the month of November was in 2017. If anybody remember, 2017 was another time when we had a shift in the market. That's the time when the government announced foreign buyer tax and the market came down drastically. That's the time in November we had more houses to sell than at present, right? So also I just want to bring to your attention, if you look into the same graph here or all the years, you could see this months of inventory will go down a lot in December, right? Because either many people will take their houses off the market, or some houses would sell, or people would not like to bring new houses in the market. So that's why we'll have lesser number of homes to sell in December, and the inventory will start coming back again from January onward. And it's normally at the peak in March, April, May, which is our spring market, right? So this is just a graph to show how the inventory behaves. Now let's look into our price, average price. Again, the dark blue line, which is 2023, is the second highest price in last decade, right? So we are still having a very healthy home price. So anybody who bought a house, say in 2020, 2019, 2018, anytime prior to 2021, they're all positive. They're all still having a very good gain in the house price they bought, right? Only the people who bought in 2021, or maybe some people who bought later part of 2022 are losing, right? So now consider this way. Right now, our housing price is almost like 20% below the peak of 2021, 2022. So which means if you can buy a house by going back in history and buy at a price of 2021, 2022, isn't that a good deal? Should we not buy, right? Should we not say, hey, let's take advantage of this opportunity which the market has presented, keeping in mind as we look into the last decade, the house prices will always keep on going up and up, right? So I believe it's still a good opportunity. It's a very good opportunity. And we'll discuss that in later in our presentation, right? So let's now look into our economy. Our economy is slowing down, right? Why we say that? As you know, this is one of the measure of economy, unemployment rate. Canada's unemployment rate has ticked up to 5.8% in November, which is actually the highest since 2007-8, right? So just for the record, in the beginning of 2023, unemployment rate was 5%. And now we are at 5.8%, which is a huge uptick in unemployment. That's why you might be feeling, if you're looking for a job, or if you have family members or friends who are looking for a job or who want to change jobs, that there's nothing out in the market. There's no opportunities, or very few opportunities in the market, right? And actually, that's what the government wanted. That's what Bank of Canada wanted. They wanted people to feel pain. They wanted people to stop spending, right? Because people were very comfortable till last year because they were easily able to find new jobs and they were able to maintain their lifestyle. Now people are scared. That's what they wanted, and they are successful. Another measure of economy, or the biggest measure of economy normally in the world, is considered GDP, right? Gross domestic product of any country. Canada's GDP actually shrank by 0.3% in third quarter. Now, which is again a measure to show that economy is slowing down. Actually, if we look into our economy, our GDP chart in Canada, you could see in the last few quarters, our GDP is almost negligible, like very few gain, or actually we had a GDP loss early part of this year and again this last quarter. Now, officially, we are not in recession, because official recession means two consecutive drops in GDP. So we had one drop now, but we had a very small gain last quarter, right? But it feels like we are already in recession. People don't have money to spend anymore. That's what recession feels like, right? So economy is definitely slowing down. And as I said, that was what the Bank of Canada's goal was, right? So, as per RBC, Canada's economic engine is gearing down, which means, yes, our economy is slowing. And as I mentioned before, we have 0.5 percentage point increase in unemployment rate over the last 4 months, which is the largest outside of pandemic. Yes, in pandemic, we lost a lot of jobs, which was temporary. But since 2008-9, this is the largest unemployment number in a small period of time, right? Now, this opens the door for the interest rate cuts. Now, the government wanted the inflation to come down. That was their biggest goal. Bank of Canada's biggest goal was to bring inflation down, and that's what they have been successful. Now, on the last report which we got in October, our inflation has come down to 3.1% or 3.2%, whatever measure you use, as compared to 3.8% in September, right? Which is a good news and which opens the door for rate cuts as per Yahoo Finance, right? Now, this is our inflation for the year 2023. So we started the year with 6.8%, which was not the highest. Highest inflation in recent time was actually in June 2022 when it was 8.1%. Right now, from we started coming down inflation, and then because Bank of Canada made a mistake, they opened up their cards, right? Or they lied, whatever we want to say, that we are not going to increase interest rates in early part of 2023. That's what they announced, and inflation came back, right? But then they raised rates again, and inflation is now getting out. Another reason people could manage during last many months despite high interest rates was people had a lot of savings from pandemic. From pandemic, people got a lot of money as either benefits from the government, or people did not spend money during pandemic, so they had a lot of savings and they had cushion to, like, at least bear the brunt when the rates were going up in the early part, right? But now all that money, all those savings have dried up. So people don't have any more cushion left. So now inflation is actually coming down and we don't see it going back up very soon, right? So now this is a graph which shows that Canada is actually doing much better than any other G7 countries as far as inflation is concerned. Our system is working better than other systems, in other words. Red line, the dark red line, which is Canada, as you could see, our inflation is actually coming down much faster than any other country or any other G7 countries, right? That's why we say our system is working much efficiently or much better than any other countries in the world, right? Which opens the door that we probably should be having a rate cut sooner than other people as well, right? Now, as Mr. Tall, Benjamin Tall, our dear friend from CIBC, he says, inflation is a lagging indicator, right? Because it only tells what happened in the history. Also, Bank of Canada will choose recession any day over inflation, right? Bank of Canada doesn't want to see inflation anymore. They don't mind even if we have recession, which we almost have recession right now, right? And what are they doing is they are trying to make sure that before they cut rates, inflation should be absolutely dead. And the way to do is, one, to overshoot, which they are doing, keeping the interest rate or making the interest rate very high, and to keep it high for longer. So as people feel the pinch much longer, and inflation is dead, and they are successful, right? So this is a very interesting graph which shows how the inflation and the interest rates behave. The black line, which is interest rates, and the blue line is inflation. As you could see in the history, like normally inflation is around 2% in Canada, and interest rates were also around 2% in the last few years, right? And then interest rates started coming down during pandemic. And in the early part, inflation was also down because people didn't have money and people were scared. They didn't want to spend money. But then, as interest rates were kept low for a much longer period of time, and I believe that was a mistake Bank of Canada made, which a lot of economists say that, right? Because Bank of Canada kept these interest rates low for a very long time, inflation started going up and up and up, right? And then it went up to 8.1%. And then Bank of Canada woke up. They said, no, inflation is going too fast. We need to control it. So they started raising interest rates. And ultimately, inflation started coming down, right? Now we have increased interest rates at a much faster pace than history, right? We have never seen such a big increase in a short period of time in last many, many, many years in Canada, right? So now we are sitting at a very high interest rate for a long period of time and inflation is coming down, right? So which means ultimately as inflation starts coming down and it's almost at 2%, interest rate should start coming down as well. Now, as expected on this past Wednesday, Bank of Canada did not increase interest rates. Tiff McCallum, which is Bank of Canada governor, he kept the rates same third time in a row, and we are now sitting at the same rate since July of this year, right? But he's still saying that if inflation goes up, I would or we would still increase interest rates. So he's still saying we are not done yet. Though almost all the economists feel we are done. But he still want to keep that fear in the market, and he doesn't want to repeat the mistake they made last year or early part of this year when this announced too early and then inflation came back, right? So this is our interest rates. As we could see, we are sitting at this 5% level since July of this year, right? Now, let's see what's the interest rate forecast as per experts, right? Now, Earl Davis from BMO, Bank of Montreal, Global Asset Management, as per him, the interest rate will remain at 5% until fall of 2024. And that's the longest we have been hearing from lot of experts. So he is saying it may be fall of 2024 when the rates will come down. Whereas Simon Harvey from Monex, Europe and Canada, as per him, interest rates should start coming down in April, right? Now, RBC, we have our RBC representative here as well, and we can ask him also. As per RBC, we should be having interest rate cut in the second half of 2024, right? TD is very optimistic, and as per TD, interest rate cut should start sometimes by April of this year. And CIBC, there are two different economists from CIBC we have quoted here. One is Mr. Shanfield. As per him, the interest rate would come down sometimes in June, right? But he's also saying that the CIBC's forecast is that we would drop 1.5% in 2024, which means from 5%, we should be down to 3.5%, right? Which is a bold statement. And now, as per like money market is saying rate cut should start as early as April. And then The BMO chief economist Doug Porter, he also says the countdown clock to rate cuts has already begun, even if the bank isn't saying so. Very interesting. Now, you know what? Other factor which determines the interest rates or the long-term interest rates is actually not this Bank of Canada's rate or the variable rate. The fixed rates are determined by bond yield. So the bond yields, which actually determines the fixed rates, have already started coming down as per Scotiabank, right? So which means our fixed rates have already started coming down in anticipation of the Bank of Canada's rate cut later next year, right? So that's why now Bentall from CIBC is saying the Bank of Canada will cut down interest rates in May of 2024. And if we look into the bond yields, 5-year bond yield has already come down from 4.5% in October this year to almost 3.4% now in November, December, which means our fixed rates have already started coming down, and we'll ask our mortgage experts at the end of this presentation. Right now, 5-year fixed rates are somewhere closer to 5.5%, which used to be 6.3, 6.4, 6.5 early this year or mid this year, right? So which is already a signal that yes, the rates are coming down, right? Now, if the rates are coming down, what's the forecast for the market, for the housing market? That's what everybody wanted to know. So, will the Canadian housing market crash in 2024? We don't think so. Now, this is a very interesting graph which shows the relationship between the interest rates and the house prices. So this purple line is the house prices, and this green chart or green graph is interest rates. As you could see, anytime interest rate goes up, the prices come down, right? So these are the blips which happened every time interest rates went up, and vice versa. When the rates like come down, prices go up. So now we are sitting at a point where the rates were the highest and the prices have already come down, right? So which means when the rates start coming down, the prices will go up, right? Now, as per Canadian Real Estate Association, we were supposed to drop 4.8% in 2023 to bring the average sale price in Canada to 670,000. And as per the same body, the Canadian housing market would go up 4.7% in 2024. So the average price in Canada will go from 670,000 to 702,000 in 2024. Right? What is REMAX saying? So Canadian house prices are expected to see sluggish growth in 2024 as per REMAX, right? So they will go up, but not very much. Christopher Alexander, he's the president for REMAX Canada. He's saying Canadian housing market is very resilient. Canadians have a lot of demand and they want the home ownership, and that didn't change even with all the turmoil that happened in the real estate market in the recent times. So the market is going to come back. And overall in Canada, the growth will only be 0.5%, but in different regions, it will go between 2 to 7.5%. So that's where we expect the market to go up in 2024, between 2 to 7.5%. Right? So this is a graph, or this is the data for different neighborhoods showing what will be the growth in different neighborhoods. I can send it to you guys if anybody need it. Just send me a text or an email or a message, and I'll be in touch with you and send you this. Just want to bring one thing here, that 7% growth is expected in Oakville in 2024, which is almost the highest in a region, right? And this is other parts of the region. Now, let's look into what are the opportunities in the market. Now, as this was in 2023, CMHC, Canadian Mortgage Housing Corporation, they have done a study. As per that study, we would be 3.5 million homes short in 2020 by end of 2030. So, which means that whatever pace we are building the houses at this moment, taking into consideration all the new homes that are being built, by the end of 2030, we would be 3.5 million homes short in Canada. Huge, huge shortage. And 60% of that shortage would be in Ontario and British Columbia, which means 2 million of these homes would be needed in Ontario and in British Columbia. So think of this. If you know there's a stock which is going to be in huge demand in the coming years, and that stock is right now on sale, what should we do? Simple economics. Anybody can say, if we know this stock will be in demand, lot of demand, this product will be in lot of demand, or this commodity will be in lot of demand, and right now this is on sale, we should buy it. We should buy it now before people start buying it, right? So that's why this is an excellent opportunity. There are excellent opportunity for first-time buyers, which couldn't buy when the house prices were very high. This is the time for them to buy. Excellent opportunity for move-ups. Anybody who wanted to upgrade and buy a bigger home, excellent opportunity for those people. There are a lot of opportunities in the resale market, right? And then there are unbelievable opportunities in assignment market. And yes, builders are still offering excellent incentives. So take advantage of these opportunities. This is one of the example. We have right now in our hand, somebody is selling a distress sale in downtown Toronto, a condo which was purchased in 2021 for 607,000 is right now on sale for 530,000. So guy who bought this is losing. So people are losing. So there are many such opportunities we have in our hands, right? Which are distress sale, where people are not selling at the price they bought in 2020, 2021, 2022. They are actually losing money. They are ready to lose their deposits, a major part of their deposits, right? So if you want to know more of such opportunities, please contact us. Another opportunity, this is at Mount Pleasant GO Station in Brampton. Right on the station, there is a building being built, and there is a unit available for sale. Someone bought that unit for 780,000 original purchase price, and now is asking 700,000. So they're ready to sell it at a loss of $80,000. And occupancy or closing is in February 2024. Excellent opportunity, right? Again, if you want to know more about such opportunities that right now exist in the market, contact our team. We would be happy to assist you. Another excellent opportunity in St. Catharines, close to Brock University, only 4 minutes away from the university. There's a townhouse. Someone bought the townhouse for 820,000. Right now is asking 750,000, right? So you will directly close with the builder. Another excellent opportunity. So we have many such opportunities in our hands right now. These are just some examples. So contact our team and we would be very, very happy to assist you, right? Now, as Margaret Thatcher said, don't follow the crowd, let the crowd follow you. Now, how does that mean, or what does that mean in our market? Once the rates come down, which we all know it will come down, it's just a matter of when, not if, right? When the rates come down, prices will go up. Everybody would like to buy at that moment. People will say, I want to buy homes. So the crowd will come back to the market when the rates come down. So don't follow the crowd. Let the crowd follow you. Buy now before people start buying. So to take advantage of these opportunities, please contact our team and we would be happy to assist you. That's about our presentation. And now we'll open our floor for the Q&A session. Thank you. You know what, before everybody start asking their questions, let me ask our expert panel here. I know our mortgage brokers, Kishore, Bhavin, Prerna, Amit, Shihan are here. So what you see, or when do you see these rates will come down? That's number one. And number two, as we have seen in this presentation that fixed rates have already started coming down. Would you agree with that? And how much have they come down? So if expert can answer those questions, I know a lot of people want to know that.
I can take a shot at this, Sam.
Sure. Thank you, Kishore.
So you're right. Fixed rates have come down. There was almost a milestone the last couple of weeks where the 3-year fix started creeping below the 6% mark.
Wow.
So this hasn't happened since, I would say, almost early April or May of this year. And like you also mentioned, the 5-year fixed is getting below almost getting to mid fives. But majority of the market right now, with the anticipation of the rates dropping, are geared towards the 2 and the 3-year fix to be in a position to capture the rates when they normalize again. So I would say from September to now, the 3-year fix almost fallen almost 0.5%. So that is a big move.
Wow, that's great. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Kishore. Any other perspective on that from other mortgage brokers here in the call? Amit, would you want to take one?
Yeah, so as Kishore said, the fixed rates have already dropped like crazy. To 2, 3, 4, 5 years on average is about 0.5% in a decrease. The variable rate option, which I think many of us are all waiting for, I think as experts have already said, that shift or that first decrease is not going to happen until the second quarter of 2024. And Kishore is saying like the 2 and the 3 years are the better options if you want to try to leverage the lower projected rates in the next 12 to 18 months. However, also looking at if you can cash flow on the variable is actually the better option because there's a lot more flexibility on the future projection of the rate cuts to come, which actually can make it even more beneficial for you in the long run.
Fair enough. Good preview and good perception. Everybody have different reasons. And as per Amit, variable rate's a good option. And let's see if other mortgage brokers also agree with that or they have a different perspective. I'll go to maybe now Prerna, if she wants to take a call here.
Yes, definitely. Fixed rates have gone down, and people are going for 2 or 3 years fixed rates. Variable will still, if you have the opportunity and you feel like you can take the risk appetite and you have the risk appetite and you can take variable, definitely go for that. And when the rates come down, you can lock it. One of the things that I would like to mention for first-time home buyers who are here and they do not have 20% down payment, but they see a good opportunity, please go for it because insured or less than 20% down have a very good rate right now for 5 years. Somebody just got it 4.99. So let me know 4.99 as of yesterday.
Hey, you heard it first here, 4.99% for 5-year fixed rate.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Less than 20% down payment. And I know there are few people here who are first-time home buyers. So definitely it's a great opportunity.
Great. Thank you. So everybody, this is I would say another good news we just heard. So someone got a 5-year fixed rate at 4.99%, which is absolutely a very, very good rate considering what happened in the last many months, right? Or many years, I should say now. It feels like forever. Great. Bhavin, would you like to give your perspective from RBC point of view? Yes.
I think they've covered it all. As last time I was mentioning, I think variable does make sense at this point. Again, I think if we can qualify the client for variable just because the rates are high over there and they have the risk appetite, it's just a 6 months or a 1 year from now, they will benefit on that, right?
Wonderful. Great. So you know what? That was, I think, a very good perception or a very good summary from our mortgage advisors. Sorry, I forgot to ask Shehan. Shehan, are you still on the call here? Sorry, I saw you in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Please.
Honestly, I think everyone has really echoed the same sentiment where it's good to see rates are dropping. As far as advice goes, you know, if you're not willing to take a risk, or if cash flow is an issue and you want to avoid the variable rates, I think the 2 or 3 year fixed rates make the most sense. Most banks will let you renew up to 6 months in advance as well. So really you're looking at an 18-month or a 30-month mortgage when you're taking a 2 or 3 year fix. So I think they would be well positioned to capture a more stabilized and normalized rate at that 18-month or 30-month mark if they went with those options. So that's my advice for any buyers in the call.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shehan. So we heard from different people from different institutions. So as everybody is saying rates are coming down, fixed rates have already started coming down and variables will be coming down soon. So that's a great news. And so with that, probably the market will start stabilizing and then coming back probably later part of this year. So this year means 2024. I'm already feeling I'm in 2024. So that's a great news, and that's a good news for our buyers and sellers as well. Any other questions from somebody else? Let's see.
Anji has a question, like, do you think we will see the rates at 3.5 anytime in 2024 fixed?
Great question. Again, team, anybody wants to make this bold call?
Maybe in short, towards the later part of next year.
Okay, that's probably, I would say it's more of a wish list.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not an expert on that, but 3.5% means we have to drop significantly and very quickly to see in 2024. What do you say, Kishore? I will go to you first.
Sam, there's so much demand, Sam, that if it goes to 3.5%, we'll make 2021 look like, grade one. There is so much demand on the sidelines right now. Even if we cross sub 5%, the market is going to go in a frenzy.
Agreed. You know what? Absolutely. I don't think the Bank of Canada will let that happen, right? They will do anything in their power to, again, not that same frenzy happen that quickly, right? And it's not a good sign for the market as well. So it's not healthy for the market as well. So I would not expect it to come down that quickly at that early stage, right? But again, who are we? We'll look into the market and the market will decide. Great. Any other person want to take a shot on this before we go to the next question?
I don't think we're gonna see those rates until probably 2025, to be honest with you. As Kishore said, there's so much demand. If we look back at April and May when, fixed rates were sitting around pretty much 4.99 for 2 year or 3 year, just below, we were seeing offers of, 30 to 50 offers on homes again. So
Yes.
if that follows suit, I don't think the rates are really going to matter at that time. And by the time we get to 3.5, we're going to be in a normal market. Kushar's laughing because he probably agrees with it too. But there's so much volatility still in this market that, as you said earlier, even though we're in the recession, if inflation jumps up, rates are going to jump back up, and then that's going to kill the market again overall. So there's a lot of shift that can still occur.
Yep. Great. No, I agree as well with our experts that we do not expect, and we do not maybe even want the rate to come down that quickly, right? But yes, sometimes maybe in 25, 26, we might be at that range. But this 2024, maybe too hard to say or too hard to swallow. Great. Let's look into the next questions. Neelam, you want to take the next question, please?
Deepak wrote, hello, if there is any first-time home buyer here, please look into opening the FHSA before December 31st. Please consult with the financial advisor and bank for more details about the process.
Very good advice from Deepak. Deepak is one of our financial advisor on the call here. So Deepak, I would, if you are available, can you please just elaborate and explain to other people what do you mean by FHSA?
Okay, so let me just go back. A financial advisor is more of an accountant.
Yes.
So yeah, so I wasn't able to say much about from the financial advisor side, but I've been talking with a lot of my clients about the FHSA account. So I was like, it's a good place because I'm sure there are a lot of audience here who may be the first time home buyer. So this is something new that came into the budget this year, and then it got finalized. So even when you start reading about it, you may not able to find much information. So I was able to dig in for one of my clients. So what is this account? Is called First Home Buyer Saving Account. So it works same as a RRSP, but it's strictly focused on a first-time home buyer. So if you know how you file your taxes and how the RSP work, is you can put the money into RSP and then take it out for your first home, and the limit is 35,000. For example, if you have put the money into RSP and then you're ready to buy the home, you take 35,000 out, and then you have to repay back within 15 years. So they calculate installment. So this FHSA is a new account, and it gives you additional room of 8,000 per year to a maximum of 40,000 of additional money that you can put into not RSP, put into the registered fund, which can grow at a tax-free rate. And then you can do it up to 40,000, but in increment of 8,000 every year. So if you don't open the account by December 31st, you will lose the first 8,000 of contribution because the account has to be opened before December 31st to get the first 8,000. Now, the two advantage that you have is one, the money that you will save will grow at a tax-free. Second, when you take that money out and you have, I think, 8 months or 9 months to use that to your first home, and then you don't have to repay back, and then you get the deduction that you put the money into RSP, you get the tax saving at the time when you take it out. As long as it's for the first home, you don't have to pay the taxes on that.
Wonderful.
So it works in both ways. So tax saving plus gave you the incentive of taking that additional money in addition to 35,000 you may have already saved into RSP. So it's a bonus for the first time home buyers that you're getting additional 40,000 advantage.
Great. No, very good. Very good information. Yes, it was announced recently by the government that there is another pool of money you can have towards your down payment and towards your first-time home buyers. So they are promoting home buying, of course, and as most of you know, and if you don't know, you can always contact your accountants or financial advisors or mortgage brokers as well. They can advise you. You can always take money out of your RSPs tax-free at the point of withdrawal and use it to buy your home, which is, as Deepak mentioned, 35,000 a room. And then another way is FHSA, and it's 8,000 per year for next 5 years. A wonderful opportunity for first-time buyers, and anybody on the call who are first-time buyers, please open your account before 31st December. Time is limited. Take advantage of it. It's very, very important. And thank you, Deepak, for bringing that up. Appreciate that. Great. And any other question we have on the session here from any other participant? Or anybody want to unmute themselves and ask their question, please feel free to do that.
Hi, Sam, it's Bani. Not a question. I was, good morning, everybody. I had a very bad connection when we were talking about the saving plan right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if somebody covered that. I don't know if everybody is aware. Even as parents, you can actually contribute for your children. So let's say FSHA. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's similar to RRSP first time home buyer loan, but actually it has a lot more flexibility. So you can put it towards your sons, towards your kids' account, and they can use it when they get their first home.
Awesome.
So that's a big plus. So if anybody is looking for any more information, I can definitely send them. We do those, and we've already launched as cooperators the product. So if anybody needs more information about it, I'll be happy to send it over.
Wonderful.
I didn't know what all was covered already because I lost connection and I had to rejoin. So I said at least this one particular piece, I thought it was very critical.
Absolutely. No, thank you for Deepak. Thank you to Deepak, and thank you to Bani as well. Bani's from Cooperators, and they also have this program. So a lot of companies offer this program, and Cooperator is one of them. So please join, contact Bani or other financial advisors we have here, and they would be happy to assist you. Take advantage of it. And Bani brought up a very good point as well, that the parents can contribute towards their kids' FHSA program as well, right? So if you have any of your child thinking of buying in the next few years, even if they are not buying in next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, it can still be carried over because it's $8,000 per year, up to 40,000 maximum, which means even if they're buying after 5 years or even later, do it now. And then when the time comes for them to purchase their first home, you can take it out tax-free, and a lot of advantage. And all these savings are like RRSPs. You don't pay tax on that. Wonderful. I think it was a very important information from our expert panel.
Bani, I'll send you my email address on the chat. There are a couple of clients who are actually looking into opening the account. Maybe I can connect with you after the call.
Awesome.
Absolutely. That would be lovely. Yeah.
Great.
If you can do that.
I appreciate everybody making connections here, and that's great. So yes, please use this forum to contact each other and help out each other as well. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. And you know what? Another thing, I don't know Prasun is on the call or not at this moment. I know he messaged me he was sick last night, but very important point which he mentioned, and I want to bring up on this call as well. Is Prasun available on the call, first of all? He's not, probably. He was sick last night, so maybe he's still not feeling well. This is time for wills and estate planning as well. So he wanted to bring it up, and very important point that as the year is ending, there are a lot of people are having different type of year-end resolutions or New Year resolutions. So one of the resolutions should be on your wish list, should be wills and estate planning, right? So very important topic as well. And we have experts on that topic as well. And if you have any questions, please feel to contact us, and we would be happy to contact you with our wills and estate planners. I'll ask my questions to the expert panel. I'll take advantage of this opportunity. Okay, I think I should be asking this question again. Now, as a lot of these financial advisors or these mortgage brokers have mentioned here, that rates would be coming down sometimes this year. And if someone can explain here the relationship between the bonds and the interest rates, because we bring it up, a lot of people say that, but in general terms, people don't understand what's the relationship between the bond market and the fixed rate market. So I would appreciate if one of our mortgage brokers or anybody who knows that better than me can shed a quick light on this topic as well.
I'll take a shot at it, Sam.
Yes.
I'm going to keep it very simple. I might be
Yes.
oversimplifying things. Okay.
Go ahead.
Banks lend out money, but a lot of times it's not their own money. They buy it from the bond market, add their spread to it, the administrative cost, and they resell it. Okay. And so bond yields coming down, yield is the rate of return on a bond. When bond yields come down, that's good for us, because then the banks can pass on those savings onto the borrower.
Okay.
Right. And so right now the yields have been coming down. It's a function of multiple market forces that act on it. There's no one singular force that decides how the bond yields move. And that's a gross simplification of how mortgages are lent out. In the US, it's different. The banks buy it from Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. That's why they have the 30-year bonds, right? I mean, 30-year mortgages. In Canada, it's a much more regulated system. It's bought from the bond market, which has those intervals in which we sell.
Okay. I think on the same topic, extension of the question is probably you already answered a little bit, but why don't we see those long-term interest rates in Canada, which are in US? Like US, most people, when they get their rates, they are 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Which you bought a house in 2021 at 2%, you are guaranteed 2% for 30 years.
Correct.
Whereas
and there's no penalties in the US either.
Sorry?
There's no penalties in the US.
There's no penalty if you break your penalty. Yeah, that's another big reason. So why is it our banks are greedy? I'm sorry, I'm using that term, that they don't want to pass on the savings or they don't want to help the consumers.
It's the framework
there
and
is
infrastructure.
There is some regulations. That's what a lot of clients ask me.
Yeah.
Especially this is a hot topic in the market. So that's why I want to touch upon it and ask this to experts here. Like, why don't we have 30-year amortization in Canada, and why are the penalties are in Canada, not in US?
It's a double-edged sword, right? In the US, they have the framework where the banks buy the bonds from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, kind of like our CMHC. Okay. It's not as regulated as ours. So the flip side is, you open that market up. One of the reasons Canadian real estate is so strong is our regulation. We've never had our 2008 equivalent of the US here, because it's much harder to get a mortgage in Canada, right?
Yep.
And because of that regulation, this is one of the shortcomings.
Fair enough. Okay. That may be a simple answer, and maybe we can have some more discussion one day and have more information, and maybe we can do a session on that as well.
Yeah.
I talked with financial advisors as well. My input is I think Canadians are too conservative, and they wanted to have more controls. The banks wanted to have more controls, and that could be the reason for the bank to not open up the incentive of individuals taking the advantage of locking the rate for this long, because they wanted to keep this a rotating habit, and then it gives them a control. If something happens, they can see the renewals will come in, or they have all the data. Like, I mean, all the banks work together. I know that, right? So I think that could be an add-on of why they don't open up the long-term opportunities for people to lock the rate for 20 years or 30 years.
Great. Very good answers. And I really appreciate all the expert panel. I think we are towards the end. We are only 2 minutes left. And before we call the end of the session, any last minute question from anybody before we call it off, or Or you want me to ask another question? I think our participants are enjoying it when I'm asking these questions today. And any perspective from the bank sides about the forecast for the real estate market? Anybody have any other forecast which I did not mention here? Any expert want to lean into that? Either a bank expert or maybe even any, we have lawyers on the call. What are they seeing and what are their input into this like forecast? Sandeepji, I think you are on the call as well. Do you want to take this shot and give your insight, what you are observing? You are also in this industry for a long time.
I think in the month of maybe May or June, the interest rate may go down and the market will jump again. This is my thought, my opinion. It will jump.
Wonderful. How much do you think it will jump, roughly? I know it's very difficult to put a number, and I'm trying to put people on the spot. But
I
what
think
do
like
you...
the GTA market will jump a little bit aggressively than other than the smaller towns.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
But
want to put
how
a
much,
number?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a number out of you if you can. Fair enough. Fair enough. He's trying to be very conservative and want to not answer that number. Fair enough. Agreed. And I respect that. And
Can you answer that number, Sam?
sorry?
Can you answer that number?
I already have the session here, like the numbers from the experts, like different bodies are saying different, like Canadian Real Estate Association, which is a very renowned body in our country. As per them, in 2024, it's 4.7%, which is roughly 5%. So I would say if it's a 5% in 2024, I'll be very happy. Right. I think most, and GTA would be, that's what they're saying, average. GTA could be 6-7%, even more in some areas. Yeah. As Remax have said, in Oakville, it will be 7%. Again, that's their perspective, right? Different neighborhoods will always react differently depending upon the lot of factors, right? So, but definitely there'll be good growth in 2024. It won't be huge growth in 2024 as per Remax as well. We would be having probably much more growth in 2025, but it will start. The main thing is we want to see the recovery. Once the recovery starts, then we know, and we have seen it many times. I always say we have seen this movie many times before, where once the market comes back, we know how it goes. We know how the people line up. We know we have seen multiple offers on a house. I have been involved into one house. I still remember there were 67 offers during the peak time, right? We don't want to see that very soon because it's not a good, healthy sign for the market as well. But yes, at least I want to see people lining up, or at least get houses getting sold easily and market recovering sometimes in 2024.
We always mention the supply and demand and one of the factors after the interest rate hike, but you just mentioned that there is like 3.5 million shortage of supply, even though we have 4 months of supply and resale market, but we're still short, right? So we discuss it, but we just leave it in the corner and we focus on it, right? But supply demand is always in the works. I think beside the high regulation and everything else, that's one thing that keeps the market tight.
Yeah. Great question or great comment, Haji. I would quickly divulge on that before calling the end of this session. Probably this is the last question I would say. Supply and demand plays very, very important role. I think two main factors which is controlling our real estate market are A, interest rates, and B, supply and demand, right? As we know, interest rates are going to be a positive factor very soon. Supply and demand is a factor which at this moment is probably playing a negative role because we have oversupply, or maybe a supply of 4 months, as we know, as of this moment, right? Which probably, as I said, as soon as the things change, this will be taken away right away. So this supply will be absorbed very quickly, and then we will be again shortage of supply. Because as the government is worried, as CMSC has done their study and came out with this report where they're saying in 2020, by 2030, we would be 3.5 million homes short in Canada. That's a huge shortage. Actually, there was a meeting between our Premier Doug Ford and the Mayor Olivia Chow recently, and I didn't include that in our session, but they also are trying to come out with plans to increase the supply. They also both acknowledge that we are going to have acute shortage of houses in GTA, right? And they're trying to come out with plans to address it. So which means that, yes, if government is worried, and this is a question being asked in parliament as well, right? Where even everybody is talking about houses shortage in Canada, while we are saying right now we have a supply or oversupply. So that's what I'm trying to show here is, what I'm trying to say here is that yes, we have temporary supply, which is a little bit over the demand. But in long term, it will be always less supply, more demand. And interest rates will add probably more fuel to the fire, and then we will start going up in prices very quickly again. With that, I believe we are now few minutes above our session. So I will probably call the end of the session. I appreciate everybody's time everybody have taken their precious time to come on this call and attend as usual and as regular attendees. I appreciate your time, and I always expect you got some valuable information out of this session. And we are always open for more suggestions. Anybody have more suggestions for our seminars, how, or if we want to include anything which we are not doing it here, please do that. And as always, please take some action, all right? We always take information, but if we don't take action on that information, I believe that it's of no use to anybody, right? So I appreciate people who call me after the calls and they want to take actions. And if you want to understand or know where the opportunities exist and what should you do with those opportunities, please call one of our team members. And also, very important, I would say December 31st, as we know, is the deadline of that extra savings for your first-time buyers. Take advantage of that. Open that FHSA account as soon as possible, and do not let this year's contribution of $8,000 go waste. With that, we end this call. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you for your time, and we wish you a nice weekend, whatever is left. The weather is still beautiful. We were talking about that. We still are positive temperature here. So go out with family, enjoy whatever time we have. We will take this type of weather any day in December, right? So let's enjoy it. And till next session in the new year. So this is our last session for 2023. Wishing everybody a happy new year for 2024. And wishing you all the best for the next year. And we will now see you in 2024. Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you very much.
holidays.
Thank you for
Happy holidays,
great
everyone.
presentation.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Have
Bye,
a good day.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Nilamji.
Bye, Inderji. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
Indrajit.
Okay. You are